5 seconds. All right. Hopefully. Oh shit. Maybe 8. Uh-oh. 1 second. 1 second. Oh my god. Hey, had to adjust some settings because I was messing with the receiver for the video today. I had to shoot by myself, but managed to get a video out. So, welcome to this week's CertifiedTinter.com live stream. I, of course, am Matt, and this week we're going to be talking about an F150 front window. So I'm going to cut it out 2 different ways. First is with 24-inch roll vertically. Second is with a 36-inch roll sideways. Kind of go over the slight differences between those two, give you guys a couple of examples. But I wanted to answer a question that I read first off in the comments when I got to the live stream. So, well, not question, statement. Statement was, I absolutely hate these scheduled releases. Worst thing ever invented. I don't know about the worst thing, but let's be real here. Maybe I'm just impatient, but make the video, edit the video, and release the video. Seems pretty straightforward. It really does, but it's not. YouTube is a ton of competition for views, and you kind of need to schedule things in advance, create a little awareness for them, and create some sort of, not all the time, but for sessions like this, you need to create some sort of regularity. And then also the byproduct of creating that regularity is I actually have forced myself to try and maintain Thursdays at 9:30 because, to be honest, I didn't have a video until like 8:30. I had it finally rendered out to go. I was thinking about just live streaming tomorrow, but I finally pushed myself to try and get the video out now, today. And also, me and Patrick have been doing these videos every week for our website, Certified Tinter, to try and grow that whole thing, because the whole point is to try and support ourselves. As you can see, YouTube has not been doing a fantastic job of that. Yes, we get views, but views do not support the channel alone. So you would actually look into CPM rates and anything of that nature, and you will find very quickly even the channel that has, millions of views really doesn't get that much ad money from YouTube. So, yeah, it is frustrating for some people. I can understand the sentiment. My first initial reaction was to tell you to go get bent, but I took a step back and figured I needed to explain, some of the reasons behind scheduling videos, why YouTube is the way it is. Like, if you pour over analytical data and just the way views come in, like there's certain times that you get more views, there's certain things, certain titles, certain thumbnails, there's certain things that you have to do to play the YouTube game in order to try and grow. And if you're not growing on YouTube, then you will quickly decline. Your subs won't fall off, but your views drastically will. And to be honest, sub numbers do not matter whatsoever. It's all about the views that you bring in. And, I'm trying to do what I can to support myself. I really enjoy making these videos. It is not an easy task just to film a video wherever I am and try and get this out. It might seem that way, but there's actually a little bit more that goes into each and every video. So just figured I'd get that out there right off the get-go. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the video. Thank you all so much for coming out, hanging out with me. We're going to be going over, like I said, Ford F-150 front door. We're going to be hand cutting it. And I will take your questions afterwards. I will keep an eye on the chat, answer anything that I can quickly typing, and then I will also copy and paste them in some notes to answer after the video. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. And oh, no, 1 second. Shh. See, this is what I'm talking about. I thought I was all set. Oh, bother. Hang on. I gotta do some quick magic. Ooh. Okay, so I can at least talk to you guys real quick while I'm setting this up. I have the video ready to go, but I forgot to cue it in OBS, which is what I'm using to stream. And the Ford F-150 hand cut, how to hand cut, we should be good with that. Okay, so I think we're good. All right, here we go. Maybe. Let's go. I'm filming by myself today, so bear with me. So here we have an F-150 front door, and I've seen a couple of comments recently asking me to show how to hand cut it, so that's what we're gonna do today. The reason why this is a little bit trickier than most is this S-curve right here. This is the F-150 staple trademark for the front doors. I don't know why they do it. They just made the newer ones even taller. Go figure. This, by and large, is going to be the same for the newer models, older models, doesn't matter. If it's got this S-curve, you're going to be cutting out the front doors like I'm going to show you in this video. So there are two types of rolls that will fit this window just fine. So first off, you have the regular 24-inch roll, which is what I would recommend everybody carry. If you get your rolls by the 60-inch and get them cut, usually you get 36, 24s, and that's enough to cut that. However, if you do have 40s and 20s, or even 36s, so this is a 36-inch roll here, but rather than unrolling it vertically, you can flip it horizontally. And then this will save you some film and go down the entire window, and you'll be good to go. So I'm gonna show you both methods today, so let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're gonna do is pop this mirror out of the way, so I'll just put a little bit of pressure. If it doesn't wanna move, then I'll just leave it alone, but to make this video a little easier, you guys can see it now. This thing is definitely on the dirty side. I'm gonna wipe off the outside, and you can see there's all sorts of like scummy shit on the inside still. Spray off this window, then unroll some film, face it liner side my way. This is very similar to all my other hand cutting videos, just we have to deal with this S-curve. So I'll line the flat edge of the film up with the bottom portion of the S-curve. This will be the same on the driver's side, just do things opposite, but we're cut on the passenger side. So let's cut off a piece of film. If you guys are interested in anything that I'm using, like squeegee blades, handles, tri-edges, you know, blades, knives, that sort of stuff, check the links in the video description. I link everything there. First thing we need to address is this front edge right here. So I've lined up the film at the very bottom of the glass, touching this bottom seal, overlapped. So let's just make one straight cut here first. So I like to pinch it and then just go straight down. Now these seals have a lot of wiggle room on the inside, so especially the newer ones, you can probably overlap like a full ½ inch on both sides and still have room on the inside. So this front edge is really loose, so I just moved it over really like 3/4 of an inch to almost a full inch. Just, you know, there's plenty of room to work with on the inside. This is actually really straightforward as a cut. It's just a bit of a puzzle to figure out your first time. So if I put pressure here, this whole edge is going to lift up from the bottom, and if I put pressure here, it's going to lift it off of here, off of the back side of it. So really, to just relieve tension while you're cutting, you can start in the front. Now this is all down, come up here, and then as you're cutting, it'll break away from there and I'll lay down. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's pop our blade here. You're not really cutting anything right here. You're just trying to get your start. And then as you come into the film, that's when you start cutting. And you can see now my film is not putting any, like it's not lifting anymore because this broke away and took all that tension away. So let's continue. I didn't get through all the way here. That's okay. You can come back and round it all off. So there you go. So the good thing about moving the film over to the front side is that when I shift this back over this way, because of this S-curve, it's actually going to get covered up a little bit. So we don't have to pull the film very far down, but a lot of F-150s have pretty far down inside seals too as well. So something to keep in mind. So let's go ahead and cut this top edge here. Pretty easy, just like the front edge. Just pinch near the top, get a little bit of blade out, and make a slice down. Pull away, tear it off. All right, and now we're going to loosen up where we tacked it, shift it back over. So in order to do that, we're going to lift it up from the bottom a smidge, and then we're gonna drag it over, and then I also like to drag it down, probably about a ½ inch. So we have some overlap on one side and the other side, and the bottom. Now, these F-150 seals on the inside, they are way far down, but they're also pretty loose. So by and large, if your window is tacked down flat along the bottom and it hits that bottom seal as customer rolls the window up and down, it's really not gonna do anything to it. There's always that potential, so if you wanna go much farther down, you absolutely can, but I've found that you typically don't have to. But if your windows start peeling, don't blame me, just adjust what I told you. So I got my top edge all nice and exposed, so putting out a little bit of blade, I'm using the 30 degrees for this cut here. And just like normal, just go all the way down. I'm gonna change the angle mid-cut. There we go. All right, so I've adjusted the camera mid-cut, so hopefully show you guys better what I'm doing. And then just continue it, hold it at the same angle, and just go all the way down. Pull away, and done. I've got my top edge cut, I've got my sides cut. Now it's all that's left to do is round out my corners. So we're gonna take a non-carbon steel blade for that. All right, so that's gonna look like this guy right here. Hopping back. Pretty straightforward on these, just basically connect the dots. So straight cut, round it off. All of them. Cool. All right. There you go. Now we have a F-150 front door pattern ready to install. I'll usually double cut these. I'll use a 24-inch roll, double cut them. But if I need to, I will use a 36-inch roll. Let's say I was running around and I ran out of a 24-inch roll. Then I would grab my 36, flip it sideways, and do the same thing there. So we're gonna show you that because we don't have a factory bottom edge on a 36-inch roll when we flip it sideways. So it's gonna look a little bit different, but the principles are still the same. So for the sake of time, we're just gonna go regular speed with this one, but you got to see a little bit more detail with the 24-inch roll. The 36-inch roll, basically gonna be the same except for obviously the bottom edge, so that's what we need to address. So I'll just talk you guys through how that's gonna go. So we're gonna unroll this onto the window here. Normally, I would do the liner facing out for this window, but I gotta flip this around for the driver's door. You might ask why I'm not doing this on the driver's door, and that's because I like to hand cut everything on the passenger side, and also I gotta film a video, and it just takes time to readjust everything. So let's get rid of some extra. Now you don't have a factory edge on the bottom. It's all sorts of wiggly unless you've cut it perfectly straight, which usually you haven't. But you do have a nice factory edge on this side. So rather than just go ahead and make a cut here, I can actually line up this front edge exactly where I need it to go as if I already cut it and pulled it over and start there. So just tack it down, take out my blade. So this doesn't matter as much. You just want to make sure that the tension is going to fall off as you're cutting around here. So let's start at this side because I'm right-handed and it's just easier for me to go this way. And then I'm going to stop real quick, break this down, and now this cut right here can continue down this edge and everything can just fall where it needs to go. No big problems at all. And then if you run into this side here, feel free to come back the other way. And then, whoop. So there we go. Now we got our S cut. We can just jump over to this side, cut off this edge. You can see it's rolling down on me because I have it rolled backwards from what I would normally do. And it's just, this is a curly roll of film. So let's loosen it up from our tack line, shift it over. Oh yeah, let's bring it up from the bottom, shift it over. So now we're basically continuing where we were on the 24-inch roll. Now we're gonna tack it. Now you have to keep in mind that the film side is exposed this way. So you gotta be careful when you squeegee over it. You don't wanna put any scratches in it. So let's roll this top edge down. Let's grab our 30-degree knife and go ahead and cut this out. Oh, please. There we go. I love filming stuff and then being under pressure because we have about 3 more cars to do right now. I'm gonna cut out my corners. I'm holding it at the top because this thing just wants to keep curling in on me. So that is one of the downsides of cutting out a 36-inch roll sideways. If you're on the extra rolly side, it's just gonna wanna curl in on you if you have some extra curly film, which unfortunately I do right now. So yeah, now that I've rounded all my corners, everything's all cut out. So I'm gonna take this pattern, pop it over to the driver's side. So as a small bonus, I figured I'd show you guys how to install the bottom of these F150s too. They're pretty similar to everything else as far as the technique that you're gonna use. But this little hump in the middle can really cause some issues if you don't know how to roll your film. So we're just gonna rinse this down. Just like normal, I will roll in one corner, keep this edge flat here, pull back my seal, and then slide it over somewhere, slide it over a little ways. Now it's gonna start bumping on this bottom, so we're gonna go over to this other side, keep a nice flat edge here, pull the seal back, go again over a little bit. Now you really can see this bottom start to push down on the seal. So let's take our film and create this little like roll here, air pocket, and just get it over that plastic ridge. And now we can continue tucking these sides. And then if this starts to do, like the film starts to bunch up here, you can just relieve that little bit of air pressure. And then continue your roll down, and then come back over, and then everything should really just start to tuck in. Just like that. Squeegee your window out. This is on the driver's side. You can see some of this tension right here. That's from where I shrunk it sideways. So if you do it too much, you're gonna create some issues for yourself. So get that down quick if you need to, and then squeegee the rest of it out, and you'll be good to go. All that's left at this point is to wipe it down and then check out the outside and see how it looks. Touch-ups if need be, and then ship it on out. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up today. I hope you found this video helpful. If you're curious about anything that I used in this video, be sure to check the links in the video description, like carbon blades, tri-edges, anything of that nature, film. I link everything below. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Boom. Stuff is not in the description right now. That's a lie. It will be in the regular upload. Didn't have time to do anything in the descriptions right now. So hope you guys enjoyed. That was how to cut out an F-150, as you saw. So there's a bunch of questions. I got a bunch of people watching right now. So let's go into Q&A. I grabbed some stuff mostly from the beginning portion. I just tried to keep an eye out for some of the more relevant questions or important stuff. So if I'm missing yours, I apologize. Just getting to as many as I can right now. So JR88 says, any advice for tomorrow? I'm putting a sunstrip, I'm putting a sunstrip, please, and thank you, and hopefully you'll remember me. I'm always supporting you. Okay, so for a sunstrip, those are very, very straightforward. I'll always use like 5% for my sun strips. I actually have a 20-inch roll cut 10 inches and 10 inches, That way you get a lot of film and you're not having to like puzzle a couple of pieces together, because what you can do is unroll the full 20-inch roll. Let me make sure I get the mic. Okay, cool. What you can do is unroll the full, like if you have a 20-inch roll, unroll it, slice it in half, save that top portion for your next windshield strip. But you know, something like an F-150 is going to be much longer. Something like a Ford Edge is going to be a little bit stubbier. And you know, sedans are different too as well, so different widths for a lot of different windshields. But basically, once you get that strip on the windshield, you're just going to line both sides up evenly, figure out where the customer wants it. Most of the time, it's just going to have a natural arch with the windshield. I don't have any solid, consistent way to make it curved or appear straight. I just go for a quick, easy, arched windshield strip. As long as you know, talk to the customer, figure out where you want it. Some are bad, some are worse than others. Like a Charger's gonna be worse than, oh, Chargers are really bad. And like, what's a better one? I don't know. It's, like a flat one, like a Honda Civic or something like that. So just get it lined up, put a light on the inside or use glass 8 on the outside, cut out the strip, clean it, squeegee it. They're real simple, straightforward. You don't really have to shrink them. It's a lot like installing a really long quarter window, so it's just unstrip, very easy to do. Moving on, we have a question from Brian Jones. Do you have you sorry, you ever done a video on the dotted matrix? I actually have. Search on my YouTube channel for dot tricks. That was a vinyl product that I would install on the inside. So stuff like Ford Fusions, like the older style, like 2012 was the last model where they did the Ford Fusions with like the horrid dot matrix at the top. Like the side dot matrix, bottom dot matrix, like the regular borders, I really don't do anything about it. The glue is not thick enough to fill in those gaps, so you can lighten them up by waiting for them to dry out. Sitting there with a heat gun and try and dry it out all day is just, you're going to be wasting your time. Let it dry out over like a day or two, and then you'd come back to it, warm up the edges, and try and press them down with like a squeegee or something. But by and large, those are just going to do what they're gonna do. For the horrid, heavy dot matrix areas, I've always liked a product called Dotrix. You can find it on a couple of supplier websites. It's just a opaque vinyl with a real thick glue. It's very soft, fills in all the dots, and it looks super, super clean. The other method, people will put like an Elmer's glue or something and then squeegee it up. Like they'll pull the film back, put Elmer's glue, and then squeegee it up to fill in those gaps. And that does work well, but I can't speak for the longevity of the Elmer's glue. I've heard it turns yellow over time, and I don't have a lot of experience doing it. Heard some 3M glues, so it's all just kind of been tossed around. I'm not sure what would last and what wouldn't, but that's another way to do it. You are here zero asks, I haven't started tinning yet, and I pulled a, oh, this was just a funny one. I haven't started tinning yet, and I pulled a muscle in my lower back. Am I doing something wrong? Might want to get that checked. Jason Walker, hey bro, your channel's super helpful. Have you ever used ProTech Classic? I actually haven't. That sounds like another miscellaneous brand. There's a bunch of them on Amazon and eBay. My favorite right now is Lexan. They're awesome. So go check them out if you're looking for something of that nature for sure. Also, go over to their website too. Their better stuff is reportedly on their website. So they actually sent me some that I'm taking a look at too. So I'll have a review of their better film out soon. Alex Johnson, how dark is 15% actually? Does it depend on the brand, or is it all the same? 15%. It will vary a couple of percentages. That goes across the board with every film manufacturer. They'll say one shade on the box, and then sometimes it's a little bit lighter, it's a little bit darker. But by and large, it's going to be right around 15%. And it actually will meter right around that percentage. So everybody's 15% is the same. What really changes is the hues of those films. So some might be a little brown, some might be a little green, some might be a little blue, some might be very neutral. So everybody's got a different dyeing method, coloring method. Depends on if they're using ceramics, carbons, dyes. All sorts of different factors come into play when coloring a film. So that's where you're going to get your biggest variations. But as far as just the sheer shade, that's kind of what you're looking at. They will actually meter at that percentage, right around there. Matt how would you remove the rear window tint without breaking the defrost lines? So I'd use a steamer. I picked up a little $50 Shark steamer. There's a lot of people talking about the Jiffy steamers. So if you're like going to be removing a lot of film, I'd suggest probably investing a little bit more in a steamer. But I don't get removals super often, and I've had this little Shark steamer in the back of my Explorer for like at least like 3 years now, and it's still running strong. Puts out a good amount of steam for $50 and heats up really fast. I cut the end off so you can shove the little rubber end down in the lower brake lights and stuff like that. It's gonna leave glue behind. Well, not always, but some films will leave a lot of glue behind, and in that case, you're gonna need an adhesive remover. So use something like ATR Fusion Epic Orange, or there's also, you can go to the dollar store now and pick up a bottle of Awesome. And I've used it, and it actually works really well. At least I've used it on one back window that was really horrid. It's like 7-year-old Lumar film that bubbled up on the back of a Fusion window. And it actually came off really well with the adhesive, like all the glue was left behind, but the adhesive remover worked really well. What would you, okay, WTC for life asks, what do you do on the little creases that happen when tucking in the sides? So yeah, that's super common for me. You see my style of doing things. I'll fold up the edges. I try and keep them loose, but when the seal's tighter and you put a little bit too much pressure, you're gonna get a little bend, a little crease, something like that. It's nothing to worry about. Just heat up the outside of the glass in that spot. Like hold the heat gun, put your hand on the inside of the glass, like usually the back of your hand, take a heat gun, warm that section of the glass up, and then basically when it starts to hurt, you want to back off the heat. So it's going to take a little bit for the heat to transfer from the outside of the glass to the inside. So warm it up, back off, warm it up, back off, until it gets to that sweet spot where it hurts to touch the glass, but not enough to boil it. Because if you keep going, it's just going to bubble the whole thing up. So make it hot, and then take a softer card. I'm getting caught on my headphones. Something like this. These are very like a medium softness rubber. Or not rubber, like a Teflon. Oh, I don't know. It's just like a soft plasticky material. It's real smooth. Use something like this. This is for lighter touch-ups. You'd take the edge or one of these and you just press it all out. Start at the very edge and press it out and get it all to lay flat. If air seeps back in, just try and start at the very edge and make sure it lays flat. If you do that, it's going to disappear. Like you want to just force all the air out of it and then you'll be good to go. So no worries there. If you need to press a little harder, that's okay. It just means that you folded it a little bit, too much. And then you can go with something a little bit stiffer, but the stiffer cards that you go with can like smear the glue, start to gouge into the film. So you just want to be careful on what you're using. There are a lot of people, I have these back here. These are the little chiselers. There's a lot of people that like these, but I'm not a super big fan of this little like tough edge that it's got. So I'll go for like a gator blade if I want to go a little bit harder. But the tri-edges by the blue tri-edge X's, I don't have any on my table with me right now. You can find those on a lot of professional websites. Those are really good as well. So that's all the question. Well, not all the questions. I see the chat like keep it going. So I'm gonna scroll back through and try and catch some more. Those were all the ones that I wrote down. Hope that was helpful. WTC for life, $2. Thanks, Matt. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the super chat. That's awesome. So, oh my God, you guys, just now I gotta read. All right. Do you ever let's see, Smoking 92, do you ever use door panel guards to protect from water damage? It's something that I'm looking into now. I generally don't. I'll put like a rag over the switches, and I know for videos especially, seeing water drip down the panels, believe me, just go look at any of my super popular videos, just the plethora of comments about the water, insurance, like flood insurance damage, you might as well have thrown the cart in a swimming pool. I've heard pretty much all of it up to this point. And like there was there was one guy said if you put your head up to the door, you can hear the ocean. A lot of people don't know there's drain holes. There's a membrane inside the car, but you know you still could create some sort of damage by soaking down a door over and over. So I'm usually one and done with it. Squeegee it out. It's all set, ready to go. Moving on to the next one. So I will throw a rag over the switches. Anywhere the water can just kind of run down and settle is what I really want to protect. Other than that, cars by and large are pretty water resistant. They have to be. You know, they're sitting outside. There's condensation that builds up on the inside of the door panels. Like it's just, you know, temperatures are constantly changing. And anytime that the weather goes from like cold in the morning to warmer in the afternoon and stuff like that, and then cools back down, you're going to get condensation to build up all over your car. So they're generally water resistant, but they're definitely not waterproof. So I really want to use like a door panel cover. I gotta find something that's a little bit better than just a microfiber towel because of how many doors that I tint in a day, and I don't really have a good place to just set it and let it dry. I'm running around, like I have no extra space other than my toolbox. So it is something that I definitely want to find a good solid solution. Like those plastic covers are pretty good. I have a roll of, it's like a 3M plastic. It's got tape on the top and it's almost like a very lightweight, like it's for painting essentially. So you tape off the areas that you want in the house, you know, the tape sticks and the plastic falls down like a trash bag. Those are pretty good, but they're disposable, and I like to find something a little bit more consistent, something I can pack up real tight and throw in my box and take it with me. So looking around for some stuff like that, talking to a couple people, and we'll see what happens. And okay. Oh, JR88. Hey Matt, for the carbon blades, are they good for cutting the top? Yes, they're awesome, but be sure to use the 30 degrees. I've seen a lot of people. Ooh, I have them here. Ooh, this. Let me adjust the focus. These. See that fine point right there? That's what you want. So these carbon blades, there's all sorts of them. I actually just tried my first NT carbon blade today. I would get those. Go on like Amazon, search NT carbon blades. I think you can get like a pack of 100 of them. They're not very expensive. The stainless steel blades are always going to be more expensive, but carbon steel is actually a harder steel, and it holds its point a lot better and a lot longer. Because it's a harder metal, it's more likely to scratch the glass. So do not cut on just anywhere on the glass, or you could potentially damage it. Just save them for top edges, or if you have, you know, a spare window to just experiment with them, then please do that. Just make sure that they're okay for windows. Like it's just cutting, especially on some modern glass, has gotten a lot more dicey lately. So, but yeah, the 30-degree point, because there's not as much, let me adjust this focus, because there's not as much blade sticking out here, whereas compared to like a 60-degree blade. So we got one of these. It's almost like cutting with a needle. It works out so much better. So I saw people talking about carbon steel for cutting top edges. Didn't notice a huge difference from just the 60-degree blades. But the 30 degrees just made all the difference. So definitely look into those. Like I can get a super close top edge now. What's a max someone should pay to get 5 windows done at a tint shop? $1 million? I know that's snarky. It really depends. You can feel free to shop around in your area, but by and large, prices vary across the country. So up here in the north, jobs are not as consistent, so we end up charging more. Jobs down south, there's tint shop, you know, in Florida, there's a tint shop on every corner, so jobs are a lot cheaper. A lot of it runs off a competition. But 5 windows around here, you're going to be paying anywhere from 180 to 200 bucks, I think, for like for a rear section on a vehicle is typically around 200 bucks. And then like adding the front windows is usually like another $80. But it really depends on what shops that you're searching at. There are shops that will do it for less expensive, but then it gets into the type of film that you want too. You have ceramics, carbons, dyed films. Dyed films are going to be the cheapest. And it also depends on what you're looking for. If you're just looking for just tint, which a lot of people are, and there's no problem with that, you just want to darken up your windows, you just want to make it cool, that's going to save you the most money. Go for a dyed film if you want a little bit more performance as far as like heat rejection. Color stability, you're going to go for a lifetime color stable film and carbon and ceramic and up from there. So it really varies, but just shop around in your area and know that when you get quoted a handful of different prices, they're kind of going to be ballpark in a similar range. But, you know, by and large, shoot for the middle, I guess. You don't always need to pay top dollar to get the best job, but keep in mind that a guy charging you a substantial amount of money to tint your windows is going to put a lot of time and care and effort into that. So it's not just like, you know, finding the guys that's going to do the cheapest for you, because the job's really not going to, by and large, turn out as well as somebody that's going to charge you a little bit more, because they know their value, they know what they're worth. Yeah, there's you know, little things about all those different types of circumstances. It's not just a flat rule across the board, but by and large, that's what you're going to run into. Window tinting is very much a skill, very much an earned skill. So you know, when somebody makes it look easy, they put a lot of time and effort into getting to that point, and then, you know, that speaks in the work that they put out. Let's see. Speaking of sun strips, what's your technique for creating a straight bottom edge instead of having the bottom that follows the contour of the glass? I don't have one. I've seen a handful of interesting options. Like there was this really like a slim flat metal bar, and somebody took a chain and would basically bow it. And then put it on like a flat edge, or put it on a glass board, and then they would follow the contour of that bow and then adjust it with the chains to get it to basically contour to the way the windshield is. I've heard some people using the top of the windshield to cut your contour, but that's not always the case with like Ford F150 Ford F-150 windshields. And by and large, a lot of them, that curve doesn't always match up. Sometimes people have said the bottom, but I just haven't seen anything very consistent. It's something that maybe I'll look into a little bit more, see if anybody's got something, you know, tried and true that'll work no big deal without a glass board and stuff like that. But I've just thrown all my windshield strips up on the top, dealt with the bow. It's not my most proud thing to do, but it's just what I've been doing. So sorry about that. Make a video tinting back glass in 2 pieces. The film isn't tall enough. You probably are never going to see me do that, at least not anytime soon. It is a technique that is not just, it's not really used anymore. It's called splicing. It's just, window films shrink very well now. You can take the time to learn how to do it in 1 piece. Generally, if you're going to be doing it in 2 pieces, you have enough skill to be able to shrink the whole windshield as is. So it's just not really a relevant technique anymore because of how far window film has come over the years. Window film used to not shrink very well at all. It wasn't until installers really showed companies what they wanted out of the film, and then, you know, competition grew, window film grew, and then that's where you get films that shrink very well. Let's see. Every back window I cut a sun strip off the scrap. I use 40-inch rolls. Whoa, you use 40-inch rolls for sun strips? Oh, no, off the back window. Oh, okay, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, you can get a good scrap for a windshield strip off of the back window. 36-inch rolls are a little short for some of them, but yeah, a 40-inch roll. Like whenever you unroll film onto the back of like a sedan or something, save that bottom scrap. Either Mike says, either as a sun strip or for like side quarter windows and stuff like that. That's all useful film for other stuff. Good tip there. Can you do a video on tinting taillights? Yeah, actually, I have one, but I haven't gotten around to edit it. I actually tried out Lux taillight film a while ago. It's awesome. It's so much better than Oracle. At least it's way more installer friendly, and I think it looks awesome. So it's got an air release glue on the inside. It's the shit's expensive, but I think it's worth every penny as far as installer friendliness goes. Oracle, I tried installing on some taillights and I managed to do it. But I was using a steamer a lot more. I'm not great with taillights. I don't do hardly any of them. But just from one to the other, if you're going to get into it, go with something like Lux. I've also heard Vivid has something that's very similar, but not quite the same. It's just got a really nice finish. It's got a really good color to it. And the air release glue and the way that it stretches, it's very similar to vinyl. So if you're ever familiar with vinyl at all, a lot of vinyl installers says it's no problem doing taillights now because of it. So look into Lux taillight film. That stuff's great. That stuff on like eBay, Amazon, at least the kits that I've seen in person. I should get it. Oh, I also have this weird stuff over here. I guess I'll throw one of these open real quick and show you. But the thicker, darker stuff that you see on Amazon and eBay, like Lux has a bunch of videos out, and there were people that were getting like I actually talked to a guy who saw one of those videos and ordered a kit off of eBay, and the film is just night and day different. Like it's thick, it's tough to work with, and then they generally expect you to fail essentially because they know that you don't have experience really doing it, and like a lot of people put the blame on themselves, so it's a way for them to keep selling a lot of kits and at the same time make more money trying to sell more pieces to more people. I got this weird ass stuff. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like Neo. Oh, what is this? This is by Omo Hall. I got this stuff on Amazon. I forgot what they call this look. Neon something headlight taillight film. Has a really interesting iridescent look. I got a couple of different colors, so I want to make a video on this stuff too as well. But I'll definitely keep in mind about just actually getting around to editing or reshooting that taillight video, because it is a really, really good good thing that I need to go over. Jeff says his wife has the '07 Fusions. Yeah, that sucks. Those dot matrices, yeah, those are annoying. I actually had a guy come in, like a 2005 Mustang that I didn't do anything about the dot matrix, and of course he came back, and I was just like, I should have spent like 5 seconds to go over with the shop about, hey, he's probably gonna say something about the dot matrix, because it really was super consistent from like like 2000 mid 2000s and to like 2012 with those fusions. Customers were coming back all the time, and it was just repeat about dot tricks over and over and over. Customers wouldn't get it, they didn't understand it, and then they come back 5 days later and be like, why does my back window look like garbage? And it's like, we tried to explain this is what it's going to do, even showed them pictures, and like a lot of people just didn't understand it until it happened to them. So that was like the super frustrating deal with those dot matrices. Hey Matt, for the back window, why do we always get creases? It causes the heat gun to much. Sorry, am I reading this right? For the back window, why do we always get creases? Is it cause of the heat gun, too much heat, or less? Oh, is it too much heat or too little? Could be a little bit of both. So I should do another back window video. I have a bunch of them, especially on Certified Tinter. It's just the technique. By and large, like if you crease the film, it is really just a tough thing to explain. So if you're pushing film down, like if you have a finger, right, and it shoots up, and where that point is, you want to shrink it a little bit past where that peak is, and then it'll start to zigzag and wiggle and like lay down, and that's when you want to press it down. And then when you push it down a little bit, you're going to start getting more that branch off, and then just kind of you can do a divide and conquer, shrink a finger, press it down, a couple more will shoot up, smaller ones to the side, shrink those, and then just gradually work your way down. Or you can just pull shrink and trying to evenly shrink the whole piece of film down. But shrinking film is going to be one of the toughest things that you're going to come across in window tinting. That's why a lot of people don't do it. They go to try and shrink a back window, try it a couple times, say, fuck this, throw everything away, and then move on to something different. So it really is a skill, a bit of an art form, and just takes a lot of practice. So it's tough to say exactly why you are getting those creases, but just watch a bunch of videos, try and pay attention to the little details, shrink it, mess up, overheat it. If you over shrink it, you're going to create a lot of tension. If you under shrink it, you really are going to crease it pretty quickly, but you can put too much heat in an area that's going to cause it to like peak together. So it's just finding that balance, that sweet spot, and getting it all to lay even. It's hard to explain this without a video. That's why I make so many of them. So just go through, watch as many as you can. We have a bunch of example uncertified tinter too. So hope that was at least mildly helpful. I'd like to buy the tinting tools in the back. Oh yeah. These. So these are for sale on our store, certifiedtinter.com. You can go check those out. These are our training tools. Pretty inexpensive to get into window film. That's why I got these. Excuse me. There's a bunch of window tools out there, a lot of professional websites and stuff like that. But you know, if you're looking just to get started, you don't want to spend you know, a couple $100s on tools. We have these. They're super affordable and they work really well. Definitely for getting started. There's reasons why you would use professional tools over stuff like this, but for getting started, getting into it, these are great. And there's actually just stuff that I use every day because it's very comparable. But everything that you see here is pretty much everything that I would use on a daily basis, minus the heat gun and the spray bottle. So that's everything has a purpose here. So we have squeegee blade for squeegee handle over here. I use these for the bottoms of back windows. They're super awesome. Scraper cards, I use these all the time. And like these are very similar to like Platinum Easy Reaches and stuff like that. Real nice, sharp or soft, or sorry, smooth edge for sides, corners, and stuff like that. And then we get into a bunch of other things. Everybody's been asking about these now. So these are my tucking tools. They're commonly referred to as the shank. So other companies sell white version. I could only find the yellow ones for super cheap. These are awesome. I made fun of those when I saw them, and now I use them on pretty much every window. So, but yeah, certifiedtinter.com is where you can find all those tools. Make a video of tinting back. Oh, I read that already. All right, let's see. We were, geez, you guys talking up a storm. All right, don't get too special. Oh, I have a 2017 Lexus IS. Do I need to remove the rear deck to deal with the window angle and brake light? I need to remove the rear deck. Well, offhand, I'm just not sure. Lexus IS. I don't believe so. No, you can use. Okay, all right. So if from the pictures, something like this. This is called the bulldozer. They're flat, they're long, they have this nice rubber lip at the end. I use these all the time with back windows. So these can only get so far and only get behind so much. When you're using like a handled squeegee, you can only get so far down. I've tried to find something at least a little bit slimmer than this, but these are awesome. I use these all the time. They're a go-to. So you don't have to remove the deck lid on a lot of cars. You can sneak something like that, or there was something called the Red Devil that's like real slim that does a good job of getting the water out. But use something like that for getting behind a third brake light. It's a little bit more of an investment though. They're like, I think they're like 18 bucks on my website. Wow, you're popular, Matt. Many people here. The channel's growing. It's super awesome to see. Ever since I put up that Walmart video, it's just numbers have shot up like crazy, which is super great to see because, like, God, putting out professional videos is not the same as it used to be for YouTube. There's a lot of people that get drawn to the sensationalized stuff. So when I made that Walmart video, I was really just trying to, you know, just have a little bit of fun, appeal to a broader audience, and that video just took off. And then I tried a couple more things, try and narrow in on what made that a little bit more successful. And some videos do super well. Like how to shrink a door window actually bombed entirely. Like, well, not bombed, but it got like 10,000 views. That's very, very low on the effort that went into that video. And then how to safely tint a windshield has done even better than my AutoZone tint video, which is very similar to my Walmart video. So like, I don't know, YouTube's all over the place with recommended views and stuff like that. There is no rhyme or reason. The amount of subscribers and the subscribers that you have do not directly translate into the views that you get on those videos. So just look through the views. They are all over the place. So I'm still trying to figure out, you know, what works well, what doesn't work as well. That's why there's been a lot more general stuff with like Amazon, eBay. Well, not eBay yet, but, you know, stuff like that. Still playing around. But I definitely want to continue doing all these professional videos. So me and Patrick have been talking about some adjustments to Certified Tinter as well. That will probably be coming very soon, and we'll talk about those soon. So, how much were the 30-degree by one? Oh, how much were the 30-degree blades by 100 pack? Honestly, like $10, I think, on Amazon. I got a pack of 50 blades, and those were carbon steel blades, by the way. There are no stainless steel 30-degree blades across the board. Any, you know, if they're black, if they're silver, doesn't matter. They're all carbon steel. Nobody fucking makes them. No idea why. It's ridiculous. But anyways, so all the 30-degree carbon steel blades are much cheaper than the stainless steel blades. I would recommend getting the NT pack based on what I used today. They just have a super, super clean, sharp edge. But I have gotten like a couple other ones that were super good, and the Foshio or something like that. That's a pretty prominent Amazon, eBay brand that I see all the time. Those were good. All the other off-brand ones seem to be okay as well. So pick up any of them; they'll be pretty good. But yeah, I would recommend getting the NT ones above everything else so far. They're awesome. Oh yeah. Sega Genesis, nice name. That makes sense. I was quoted around 200 to 250. Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. Glad that's kind of like exactly where I was shooting around here. I didn't know you were in Michigan. That's cool. I've also been testing the thin, flexible cutting sheets for chopping vegetables from Walmart for bottom loading. They're super cheap and work great. Oh, I've been testing. For bottom. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's super cool. Like, if you could post something like that in my group, like the Tinternet slash Tint Stuff group on Facebook, I'm always interested in seeing like different clever ways that people have come up with for tinting windows or to help keep glass safer, help keep things safer. Sorry, I'm looking for like a strip of my glass aid or something like that. I don't have it on my table. But like, there's people that will create a discussion, try and figure something out, and then somebody will come out with like their own little product, and then next thing you know, there'll be 100 other people talking about, oh, you should have done this, should have done that. So anything that people have come up with, I'm always curious to see, and I've been trying out as much as I can just so I at least understand where it's coming from. So I can, you know, if somebody else asks, I can at least comment on it. No one tints in my area, so I do a lot, and people love the price. That's good. Yeah. If you have less competition, then your prices go way up. Just the simple rules of supply and demand. But by and large, window tint across the board has great profit margins compared to a lot of other services. So if any of you guys are familiar with installing remote starts, 12-volt stuff, it's just a lot of it has really suffered. And a big reason for that is systems that they are integrated in with cars nowadays. It's just harder and harder to make a good sale on stuff like that. And then with competition, you know, you can look up a video on how to install a remote start and you can mess up a couple times and still get it installed. With window tint, sure, you can mess up and get more film and stuff like that, but it's got this level of frustration to it that sways a ton of people away. So by and large, it's a different type of skill, and it's one that's earned. So the prices for window tint, there's things that can try and bring it down, but it generally it's got, even the $100 tint jobs have better profit margins than a $100 remote start. So I wouldn't suggest going that low on a full car, but you know, uh, that's a thing. Boats are fun. No. Well, they might be for you. For me, I haven't had super fun with boats just because I don't get them very often. I like to stay with the familiar stuff. Um, I'm up for a challenge. I really am if I have the time, but a lot of it comes down to the time. Other jobs stack up, and not a lot of places get the time. And then what I would want them to charge for a boat just to knock it out. Like I've done simpler boats, okay, but like the ones with those curves that rubber set seals, it looks like, and then it just bows around the whole thing. I don't even want to touch it unless I knew I would come out on top of it. So or unless I had a good price, I had all the time I needed to work on it. But just the regular workflow, it's hard to like jump to something different because I don't have anybody to pick up the slack when I'm on my own running around in mobile shops. So how do you battle with the felt edge? Try masking tape, but still gets a few pieces of felt hair. Any tricks? Side load maybe? The older, the worse. Yeah, so with felt side edges, it's funny, I had a discussion with some guys at work today about it, some newer guys. So I see a lot of people using like a 3M tape or something like the green painter's tape. Any type of tape that is going to stick pretty well. It's going to help. But your installation is really what it boils down to. The more times that you spend trying to maneuver the film into place, if you just like clean off your edge, slide the film in place, and it doesn't move from there, felt can't get in there. But as soon as you maneuver the film and then you kind of get it, and then it like rolls up, wrinkles up, anytime it crumples, any little things that cause a little bit of a suction of vacuum from the sides is going to pull shit back into it. So that's really what it comes down to. I don't tape any felt. I haven't taped it in a long time, and whenever they tape the sides, I usually just pull it off because it ends up creating more of a struggle because the thickness of the tape itself, and then it starts to loosen up a little bit, start to wrinkle as you're spraying along the sides, and it starts pushing against the glass, and to me, it just makes things more irritating. So I have heard like some cheap vinyl, something that sticks better than that painter's tape would probably be a better bet. But it really just comes down to your installation technique. Um, hairspray felt seals. I have tried that, but as soon as I sprayed it and then sprayed some water, it all started to dissolve. So I thought that was a cool idea, and then it didn't seem to work very well to me or for me. But yeah, that is an option that I've heard of for sure. I should have made a video on doing the boat. Yeah, yeah, I see a lot of pictures of them. Oh God, campers and tractors. I do boat. Mike says I do boats, campers, and tractors a lot. Ugh, I do not. I do not envy you on that. I've seen so many pictures of of the tractors lately. No, no, I don't want to touch it. Don't want to do it. It's just, and like, if they're outside, like, no. I just don't want any part of it. Uh, Bayonet green tape. It's for silk screening. Okay, I'm actually going to copy this and paste it and look into this because, oh, my copy and paste. I hate this keyboard. This keyboard drives me absolutely crazy. I got this really simple, simple, small keyboard with the little trackpad on it. I don't use the trackpad, and the keyboard itself is garbage, so most of the time when I type, it screws up. I should have got a better keyboard. It's like getting cheap window film. I just did an '08 Chrysler 300. I had to mask off, mask of the felt, pulled the bottom sweeps out, and it came out beautiful. Oh, on a 300, really? I've God, maybe it's just the area that I'm in. I was doing so many Chrysler 300s. I just, like, a lot of them, I just install like normal. But yeah, they do have those felt seals. I could see how that would maybe cause some stuff for you. On a 19 Jetta, had to remove the rear deck to get the film to lay properly at the bottom. Yeah, the deck lid comes up super high, but these actually do a good job of like sweeping out. So sweep out at like an angle if you use one of these bulldozers. I'm trying to think of something else. What was the other thing? The Red Devils. They used to be in the painter section at like Home Depot and stuff, but can't find them there anymore. I'm sure you can get them online. But take a bulldozer and sweep, cut your edge real slim at the bottom, because there is a really heavy dot matrix border there too. But take like a bulldozer and sweep at an angle, and then pull it up out at an angle, or just release the pressure. Because if you just go to like shove it down and pull it back up, you yank the film up with it. I actually did one of those Jettas, or slightly older one, in my my 30th birthday live stream on my channel. A little bit of a rough thing, but I actually had a little piece of dirt ripped through the film, had to redo it. But yeah, I did one of those there. They're not super fun. I don't ever smile when I get a Jetta on the schedule, but I don't have to take anything apart either. Just little tricks to getting those done. Worked at Mickey Shore for 12 years and have been at Best Buy and 2 other audio shops in Tampa, Florida. That's where I learned a lot of tint and vehicle wrap skills. Oh, okay. Mickey Shore. Yeah, they're still around here. Oh, yeah. I haven't heard great things about working for Mickey's though, at least for window tinters. Because they have this like draw system, and that's not ugh, it just sounded super annoying. Like they guarantee you a set pay based on your commission, like a draw or a commission draw or something like that. So if you don't hit those numbers in the amount of cars that you tint, like if you don't hit that number, then it counts against you, and then you basically work yourself into like a bit of a debt. And it's like, fuck that. Just, it's reliant on the shop to pull the jobs in for the installer, and then the installer can knock them out at a good pace. So it should never be on the tinter to have to meet some number that the shop can't get them. That's just ridiculous in my opinion. Hey, how do you guys notice if the film is carbon or dyed? Because there's a lot of brands out there. Ooh, that's a good question. So there's really no easy way to just tell. There are some signs. It could be in the way the film feels, but that's not really a good explanation of how it would be easy or difficult, like to figure out between the two. It wouldn't tell you one way or the other necessarily. Carbon films generally have a little bit of a haze to them at like a low angle, so that would be the biggest indicator. Also, the company should just flat out disclose if it's carbon or dyed. It's a selling point. So that is the easiest way to find out. Like if I were just to pick up a film and look at one versus the other, just in a shop, I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference one versus the other. But if I was driving around with it over a little period of time, I could probably tell you a dyed film versus a carbon film. You'll get a little bit more performance out of a carbon film. You should have more stability, unless you're getting the real high-end dyed films. You should have more stability, color stable-wise, out of a carbon film. But it is an upgrade. So companies, in my opinion, they're stupid if they don't tell you, because why would they, like, they're just generally more expensive. So why would they sell you a better film and not tell you? So any company with a brand name, with a known brand name attached to them, will tell you for sure. If you're just finding something off of the marketplaces like Amazon, eBay, AliExpress, then you don't know for sure. It's not the best place to get a quality film, but going direct to company is always the best. Uh, oh, oh. I was at Mike. Sorry, getting distracted. I was in Port Huron. They didn't do tint there. Just did audio and starters. And yeah, draw system sucks ass. I've heard plenty. Port Huron, I know where that is. It's actually about an hour out from where I am. Uh, Thanks, Matt. Great channel. Thanks, Jaybird. I appreciate you. I have to apologize too. I meant to get back to you. I know I got you in my I completely forgot. You sent me a bunch of messages. I totally forgot to get back to you. So just want you to know, I'll make it a point to get back to you. I talked to Jaybird off and on lately, but we were talking on the phone pretty regularly for a little bit. So I appreciate you. Sorry that I miss your recent messages. Things have just been a little crazy lately. So I'll get back to you for sure. What do y'all charge for tractors? I'm new, getting 500 each. I have a client who buys 32 new tractors a year and 7 combine. Oh my fucking god. No, no. Sorry. That's just, I don't want that client. And like, you're getting 500 each. I couldn't tell you. If you guys can help him out in the chat or on my Facebook group or something. I don't know how to price a tractor. I'm assuming like the more you do, there's consistency there. So you just get used to the different ones. You could probably knock them out very quickly once you get the rhythm down. I don't know how good you are already, but like just you listed off those things and I'm just like, nope, 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 nope. I don't want to do it. Just give me like nice mid-sized sedans all day and I'll be so happy. But when it gets into like those oddball things that I just don't see regularly, I'm like, nah, no, don't want it, don't want it, don't want to do it. I will, like, I don't actively turn stuff like that away. That's just my gut reaction to it. You just see it and you're just like, fuck, do I really have to do it? It's like when classic cars come in. They're so few and far between now that I don't want to touch them. I can get them done, but it's just the amount of time it takes, make it worth your while and stuff like that. Um, Tractors suck. Yeah, yeah, they don't look fun. Have not done one yet, so I don't speak from experience, but yeah, does not sound fun. Matt, what kind of lights do you use? So for window tinting, like I actually just use a little $30 Harbor Freight light. I don't really have to use a light very much anymore. Oh God, why isn't it on my table? Ooh. Ooh, I don't want to do that. I'm looking. Oh, wait. Do I have it here? Do it. I got the package. I finally. Oh, I don't even have a completed one. Wait. Let me grab this. 1 second. I will, and then we're going to wrap things up. Sorry. This stuff. Let me scooch in here. I don't have a lot of space in here. Okay. So this is my glass aid. I gotta plug it just a little bit because I haven't talked very much about it and I just need to bring a little bit more awareness of what it is, what it does, and why I came up with it, why I like using it. So if I need to use a light, all I use is the little like $30 Harbor Freight ones. They're flexible, they're bright, they last a long time, charge over micro B. Really solid lights. And then I use this. This is my glass aid. This is a 10 mil thick PVC strength tape, essentially. So I mask off my window and it's white so you can see it. So you can see it through as dark as 15%. 5% makes it a little bit more difficult to see. But because I use this, mask off like the border of the back windows, windshields, and stuff like that. It doubles as kind of a light, so you can see it and cut directly on it. And then it also, what was I gonna say? It also protects the glass. That's its primary function. So I literally had a Instagram post today where somebody told me, let's see, what did they say? They messaged me this morning on my way into work and said, have you encountered a scratch on a back glass from an Olfa knife? And if so, how do you recommend fixing it? This is why I came up with it. I just get that question a lot. And it's not the blades necessarily anymore. The glass seems to be getting cheaper, getting softer, and it's just not as safe as it used to be. When, like, it's just that seems to be the case. Like, as careful as I am and as low of an angle as I am, it's just, you know, when you look close enough And certain lights, like, yeah, it's not a super rampant problem right now, but it seems to be getting worse. So I wanted to create something or have something. I actually looked all over the place for something that would act like this before I had to make it into a thing. And because I use it, I figured I had to make it into a thing so I could have it ready for other people too when they were asking about, hey, what are you using that? Because I have a training website. So like I had to do something about it. So anyways, that was my little solution for it. There are a couple methods to help preventing or safely cut on the glass, but I know I'm rambling from using a light to this, but yeah, it's why it's a thing. So I like it a lot. It's like $5 for a roll, $4 in a 3-pack per roll. You can get it on Film Slingers or in our stores, Certified Tinner. But yeah, you're gonna see more posts coming down the woodwork about, you know, scratches in glass, and even though they use stainless steel, something happened. So yeah, a bit of a tangent there from what light do I use, but yeah, I don't really have to use Class A plug. Yeah, yeah, I know. The it's just, oh, it's like hiding messages right now where anybody's saying like ass or shit. I'm gonna make some of these comments shown, sell that shit. People are bitching about tractors too. Oh, it's funny. So just that's why it exists. It purely so I use it on every back window, every windshield right now. It's just a surefire way to protect a window, and it's white, so it doubles as a light. So not it doesn't actually glow, but you can see through it or see through the film to it. Protectors aren't all bad. Some of them have big black trims, like the window or like the back windows. There's a lot of variations, though. Some have tons of buttons, handles, etc. Yeah, and they're outside, so I can imagine some of them just have a shit ton of dust. I wasted 100 in film trying to stick one window. My pattern was never the right size. What am I doing wrong? Oh. I'm sorry. I want to help you out so bad. So I've got a bunch of different videos on hand cutting and stuff. Um, it is tough. We make it look easy, but it's tough to get going. It's not the right size. So there's a couple things that you could do. Just if you want to try using a Sharpie instead of just a knife, you can actually put the film, just put it on the glass, draw a straight line down one side, straight line down the other side, have the flat edge of the film line up at the bottom, just maybe even a little bit below the front seal, take it over to a different surface, cut those like directly on the line or right outside that Sharpie line, and then you can take it back to the window, have it rolled down a little bit, and then cut out your top edge. And that's a pretty good way to get a pattern pretty easily, pretty consistently, but it does require an extra cutting surface. So I cut everything on a car because usually that's all I can depend on. So I hope you get it. I really hope you do. Thank you, Fran. You're welcome. Um, yeah, I know those struggles. It looks easy, but it's actually a pain in the ass to get used to. But once you get over those humps, like if you can push yourself through it, tinting eventually becomes the easy part. Lining up the jobs and the logistics, everything else becomes the difficult part. Have you had any newer all leather dashes curl up after you're tinting the whole windshield? We've got a current problem. Ooh. I have heard it. It has not happened to me. But I could see in a lot on certain leather dashes, especially where those stitches and stuff are. Like I have seen on some Mercedes doors, the stitching along the sides. If water seeps into there, it'll start to bubble up the panel a little bit. So you do have to be careful on certain cars. Domestic cars in the U.S. are generally fine, but when you get to some of those unique vehicles, ooh, that sucks. I don't know. Well, like after it's happened, I couldn't tell you. Like, I'm sorry. To prevent it though, dash towels. So Soak Shield, they've sponsored my windshield video like a couple weeks back. How to safely tint a windshield. Put a dash towel down, put a Soak Shield rope in, just do as much as you can to cover everything. and then just be lighter on the water that you use, and that's as most as I can recommend. There's no one surefire way to completely prevent water from getting somewhere other than trying to catch it all, because it's just, it's a wet application process. There's always that risk. So cover it up with, yeah, Jay says right here, Soak Shield towel. Those are super awesome microfiber towels. Like, watch that video. Those microfiber towels are no joke as far as like I've been using that one ever since they've come out. Like, it was their first style dash towel, and they've just released some new ones with like a super cool Soak Shield logo on it. I haven't used them because I still am using my original one. It's super good. They're super nice. So I wholeheartedly recommend their dash towels. So Deep Dash is the worst at curling. Ooh, oh yeah, Jeff, he's got some dash towels too. He's Tint Light, knee roll Tint Light, so he also sells some dash towels too. So just throwing him out there. He's helping people out in the comments. Figured I'd throw you a plug. Or sorry, knee roll. But yeah, I actually didn't know that the Jeeps were curling. I haven't had that problem yet, so I'm gonna be, thank you. I'm gonna be on the lookout for it. The Dodge Rams. Oh, while you guys are here, if you haven't heard of where the BCM is located for the, sorry, let me close this. If you haven't heard of where the BCM is located on the 2019 Dodge Rams, it's over in the driver's side kick panel. It's like up higher though, so even if you take a dash towel and the Soak Shield rope, this happened to me, so I'm speaking from experience now. Put the dash towel, put the rope in, went light on the water, and all of a sudden everything started going off on the Jeep like everybody was telling me that it might do. And that got me freaked out because I thought from comments that the BCM was located right underneath the dash, like in the front. It's not. It's over on the side. So what's happening is water is seeping into the corners and running down some wires, like speaker wires or something, wires that feed directly into the BCM. It's just finding this little happy trail and going to the BCM. So what you can do is literally you could either unplug it or shove a rag up onto the wires, and that will stop all the water. Like, it was really minimal water that was going in on the side. I'm making a lot of hand gestures, but that's exactly what was happening. So anybody that's tuning in right now, that's the dealio with those. It's not super cheap to get those replaced, and the one that was freaking out on me, we were able to just literally left an air gun sitting, like unplugged it, wiped everything off, left an air gun sitting there for probably about 15 minutes, just going on blast. And then everything was okay after that. But that is the problem with those. Windshields can be a little dicey, but try and protect them as much as you can with like microfiber towels and whatnot. So yeah. Appreciate the response. We've come up with the same solutions for future, but it looks like we're about to take a $1,500 to $5,000 loss. Ooh, dude, I'm so sorry. I completely sympathize with you. It's just, I had a comment today. It super irritated me. It was on my how to safely tint a windshield video. I've never covered up anything on a dash, and I've never had any problems. Like, well, other people have, all right? And it does happen. So, like, fuck off with that type of attitude. Drives me absolutely batshit crazy. Like, you try and show somebody a safe way to do it or a different way to do it, and then you just get the opposite response. It's like, it kind of shit drives me nuts. It's a 2014, so no warranty, and I've looked online and find that Jeep isn't going to cover it, and it's a common problem in southern heat. Ugh. Come on. Is it like, that's ridiculous too. Like, 'cause that sounds like it's a factory problem and they're not gonna fix it. Like, god damn it. That's stupid. That makes me pissed off for you. So at least go, like, know that I'm legitimately angry with you on like that type of shit. Like, cause when I ran into this situation, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna wrap up. I didn't realize how long this live stream's going. I ran into an issue with like when the brand new Cadillacs came out, they were putting on this different adhesive for their door panels, and there were bunch of people talking about the panels warping and all this crazy shit happening just from just trying to tint the windows. And it was from, like, you know, a little bit of moisture got on there, and then the whole thing started to warp because the glue that they were using to adhere, like, the soft materials to the moldings and the plastics and stuff like that was just not suitable for the moisture. So it would have done it given enough time, but because they were brand new vehicles, nobody knew. Well, Cadillac actually withdrew a lot of that. They were replacing stuff, like, believe it or not, they actually swapped out an entire vehicle. Luckily, this was such a rampant problem so quickly that they took care of it the majority of the time. But there's that initial surge of, you know, like when Apple keyboards were going bad right off the bat. Apple was charging people $600 to fix it. Like, fuck off with that. You get a little piece of dirt and it's the customer's fault. Like, when something's set up to fail like that, it's not right, you know. But that's kind of the risk with it. Ugh. Insurance is maybe, you know, but you already said you're taking a bath. That sucks. I'm sorry about that. My friend Brandon paid $2,400 for a dash replacement on the Grand Cherokee. Oh, Jesus. I feel like I gotta make a video about these Grand Cherokees now, because I honestly have not heard, like, I think I scrolled by something on Facebook, but I didn't know this was such a problem. That's a huge, expensive problem. Unfortunately, there's no good way to just put out the information to everybody because there's so many things that are competing for attention that, you know, I can do the best I can, but yeah, ugh, that sucks. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna end on that note. Let's see, snap shrinking technique. What did Dex say? Oh, okay. We're gonna answer one more question. Sorry, how many times have I said that? Matt, I've been having a problem with your small shrinking technique. Are you only shrinking the very bottom? Or are you aiming a little higher? Oh yeah, for snapping the doors. So you really are aiming half of the, like, the very bottom of the window is where you're shooting for. Sometimes I'll hit just a little bit above that. But yeah, just a little bit at the bottom will start to curl everything even. You can move the heat up depending on how the film is curling. So there is a little bit of a finesse with it. It's not just like I'm just focusing right there in the bottom. That's where I try and direct the heat, but I'm also watching how the film is curling. So you can bring it up a little bit and then just get everything to lay even. And then I'm sure some films will shrink differently than others, but by and large, this has worked with every film that I've used. Some are just faster than others. So, and with that, let me into the Facebook group, please. Yeah, I let everybody into the Facebook group. It's also public, so come on in. I'll check the members and be sure to approve everybody that's requested. But yeah, so with that, I'm gonna have to end things. This has been a very long live stream, but I really appreciate you guys keeping everything busy, asking questions. I hope you guys have gotten some good information. You guys have enlightened me on a couple things too, and I really appreciate that. So I will be here, of course, same time next week, Thursday, 9:30 p.m., and Patrick will have his regular video on the Window Tinting Business channel Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. So be sure to tune into that. Also, side note, I will be competing in the competition, but more info to come on that soon. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys next week.